Hey guys, we're We Three, and we're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Congratulations with a new record. This one actually slipped on me because I knew a record was coming, but I didn't know it was already out. And I was still on that EP that you guys, man, like I had tweeted about it or posted about it once you guys dropped that EP, and I was like, I'm still listening to that religiously. And then I put in Dear Paranoia, and I was like, okay, how do you guys have so much content that you guys continue to create such amazing music? So congratulations with the new record.
Thank you. We're super happy with it and super excited that it's out there now.
Yeah.
Now, before we really like jump into the album, I want to talk about the live session that you guys did, the Sincerely Me virtual show. Like, I love that you guys are able to still put on a show while, you know, times are weird right now, but you guys are able to, you know, give us that experience even through the internet. Talk to me about, like, coming together and putting this show for your fans.
Yeah, it was a really fun process, man. Like,
Yeah.
it was a little bit stressful at first, mainly because I felt like normally you have 5 to 10 seconds after a song where there's normally applause, hopefully, and we had to, like, you know, that was not a thing. And so it was basically more we were creating what we felt like was an experience for people. There was one long 45-minute song, basically.
Yeah.
And we wanted people to just sit back wherever they were and being able to just enjoy it with no stops and starts or anything, which
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that,
Yeah.
actually. Cool.
And our camera, because we had to do it with obviously being safe with COVID, so it was a very small, like, 2-people crew. Everyone 6 feet apart, wearing masks, and we wanted the cameraman he's an artist himself, so we wanted him to, like, be an artist in the show as well, with camera work in between songs. I like how it turned out. It was fun.
Yeah, so he was over there behind the scenes. Obviously, you couldn't see him, but he's like got his fingers on all the different cameras, and he's like switching between camera views and angles while filming. Yeah, it was pretty
He's
great.
super talented. Because
Yeah.
basically our direction for him was like, in these interludes where like I'm changing guitars and we have the switch between songs, be creative. And so he's just using these cool camera shots to make it interesting for the viewers.
Yeah.
He is so talented.
I love those camera shots in between songs, especially when he would go to that TV that you guys had on the riser. It was pretty cool.
He was on a timer though, and so it would be like doing the and then all of a sudden this like list of suggested things to do for the TV or something like that would just pop up. And we actually got a comment.
We got a comment about
I
that.
would go when I could see that I wasn't on camera shot, because you could see a live feedback. I would go and change the channel so I could go back to the
So that's why you kept hiding, Bethany. There was a couple songs where like I was like, where'd you go? Now, Joshua, I loved your rig. Like you had the keys on top of your drums. Is that what it looked like?
Yep, and the sample pad and the computer, and yeah, the crazy little station back there.
Like is that what your live set is like too? Is that how your setup is also, Josh?
Yep, it's pretty much the same as the live set. This was a little bit more pared down, but I honestly made some changes for this show, and I liked it so much. I think that's going to be my new setup. So
yeah. Well, I feel like you guys are going to be touring in the living room for quite some time right now. So.
Yeah. We're getting comfortable here.
So let's jump in and talk about Dear Paranoia, because like I mentioned earlier, it's another, you know, great body of work that you guys have created. You guys continue to get vulnerable to your audience and, you know, talk about subjects that, you know, we might all go through, but we're not able to kind of open up about. What was different this time around on this record compared to the debut album?
I would say it's even a step further in that same direction that you're talking about, in just vulnerability. There were a lot of songs that on the debut album that were definitely vulnerable. I mean, you could take Lifeline, you could take Heaven's Not Too Far, and sure, they are very vulnerable and real songs, but to me they're a little bit covered in some sugarcoating and artistic stuff, and this one there wasn't as much of that. there was just very, very, very black and white. Here's what's happening. Here's what I feel. And I'm not going to put any cool rhyme behind it. I'm not going to say it in a cool way. It's just, here's what's happening. And so I felt like it was just a step further in that direction, this record, which some of them can be super hard to write, and because you don't want to know a lot of those things about yourself, you don't want to admit those things about yourself.
Right.
But like you said, everybody's going through it. It's super important.
And I feel like it's such a great time to release the record that you guys did, just because, you know, right now with this whole quarantine situation, I feel like those that have those struggles, whether it's mental health or anything else, like I feel like now is when they're struggling even more, because, you know, they don't have that interaction that we're used to having, and, you know, some of these people live by themselves. So you know, I'm sure your fans have reached out about how it's kind of helped them as well, but how has it helped you guys during this process?
I think anytime you can be creative, anytime. I mean, it's probably different for each of us, but for me, I always, like, songwriting before it became, like, my career and, like, what I love to do and all that stuff, it was just essentially a necessity to me. It was that whole thing where, like, it was a once-a-month thing with just getting things out. That's really all songwriting was for me. And I'm super blessed that it turned into that. But it still is, there are moments that I go back to those times in, like, my early years of writing, and it's just therapy. It's so cheesy to say, but it still is that. Even though it is a career now, it still is just therapy and getting things out. That's really what it comes down to. Thankful that can be a job, and, you know, have therapy be my job. So
yeah, and just like expressing, sounds cheesy too, but expressing musically, like anytime we just have reasons to practice for something, I live for it. Like this record, there's some really challenging parts for me personally to sing and play, and it was like the second I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna actually have to practice that because it's hard to do. It just makes me excited, and so I felt like, especially during this time, I was grateful because it gave me so much to do, so much to practice for, and then connecting with the fans, so much content to put out. Yeah,
I love that connecting process, just like when a song is written and it's really personal, and then, like, not only just like a few people connect with it, you know, like the three of us, we connect with the song, but then like thousands and thousands of people connect with the song. It's just really cool, just to remember that, you know, we're not alone, and we're all people trying to live this crazy thing and do our best.
Right.
And so,
Bethany, you touched on you know, playing and singing certain parts that got kind of challenging. I feel like there was a lot more. I feel like you guys kind of tested your vocal ranges a little more on this record. Is that safe to say? And, like, what kind of inspired that? Is it because of the types of lyrics that you guys are writing on this record, or did you guys just feel it's time to kind of, like, challenge yourselves a little bit more than before?
I think, at least for me, it happened because of after tour. Going on a full tour and realizing what it takes to sing and perform at your best every night, there's just a lot more stamina. So I feel like, for me personally, it was just a lot more work going into things. In the actual writing process, none of it was intentional, I don't think.
We changed a lot, though, on tour. Yeah, I think, and there's, like, I think, well, you especially, like, you, like, became a different person. Like, you started doing things on tour that we had never seen him do before.
Yeah.
And so I think that, like, was some achievement.
Well, and I also think as songwriting gets better, you learn what your voice needs to do to make a song pop. And, like, you know, there are certain things where, like, you can have this crazy hooky chorus, you know, but if it's not in the right spot in your range, it's not going to pop. And so I think just getting better at that and knowing, like, yeah, this will work, but I have to sing it in this way, which maybe is pushing my range and stuff like that. So I definitely see that, and I think just the songwriting's hopefully getting better.
And the fun part for me is, like, because I do, like, tons of harmonies with him, like, when he comes up with something that's really complicated, and the harmonies and different stuff that we work out is all organic. Like, there's no plan for what's going to have harmonies.
That's cool.
It's really fun when things just, we literally go in the studio and we say, sing over it, and we decide if there will be harmonies or if there won't. Some songs are just magic, and we're like, that's exactly what it's supposed to be. And sometimes it's really challenging, and that's, I feel like, when it's fun. When something is written organically and then it also challenges you.
Yeah.
That's when it's cool.
Definitely.
Not that long ago, I heard an artist told me that they played the guitar for so long when they're making music, that they ended up learning how to play the piano just so they can learn to use chords again, or new chords, because like they were starting to run out of the same kind of chords that they were using. Do you guys feel like, have you guys felt that way, whether it's this record, this EP, or any other material, where it's like I need to find a new way to kind of use this chord, or maybe like jump into another instrument just so you can kind of like get a fresh take all over again?
Oh, sure.
Totally.
I mean, I'm sure it's that way for all of us.
Yeah.
But since I've been playing the guitar since I was 6, and so you get to the point where you're like, I feel like I've played every chord and nothing sounds. And so the piano was definitely that for me, where like it was just I know enough on the piano to kind of be dangerous with it, like, and so it, like, especially in writing, you just put your hands there and you play things and you have no idea what you're playing, and then it creates this whole new realm of chords and vibes that you didn't know existed. So that piano was definitely that for me.
Yeah. Well, I'll jump back and forth, like piano, ukulele. Sometimes I'll be messing around on the bass. Just starting from anything will inspire something different.
Yeah.
So.
The computer too is
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just gonna tag on to that. Like when you get a different patch, like when putting different patches, like a patch can have so much emotion and such a vibe in it, and it's amazing when you just change it to a different patch. It's like, whoa, okay, it's the whole new song.
Yeah.
So like that's a huge thing. Yeah, the computer is really an instrument.
That initial single for this record, I Want to Love Somebody. Talk to me about the creative process with that song in particular, and how did you guys feel challenged when you guys were creating it?
Well, I think when I was writing it, it was like it's a heavy topic, and we've dealt with a lot of heavy topics in our music, and so that's not different. But I think the direction I was really wanting this to come from is taking this really dark thing and kind of making it lighthearted, and almost kooky, to where it's just you're laughing at yourself in a way, and because it is a really tough thing that a lot of people feel, and I think we've all felt, but we really wanted to be able to almost laugh at ourselves in this thing and make it this funny story, and that was really the angle that I was writing from, was trying to make this really dark thing a little bit lighter and fun. So
just more tangible, because I feel like so many people say that phrase.
Well, yeah, I think you read that phrase and you're like, oh, this is going to be a sad song, and then just how not sad it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you just read the lyrics, it's a sad song.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's the hopeless romantic song, where it's just like, I need something so bad, but I keep messing it up.
And then in the music video at the end, there's like the party at the end, which kind of happened like in the moment.
Yeah, that's the camera guy that we work with. He's such an artist too, and he made that call, which was such a good call.
Yeah, it was cool that you guys. I mean, I feel like you guys went all out with this video. It was just like the production just looked insane. What was that process for you guys like? And did you guys have a big say on basically the idea of the video, or was that more of the videographer, director?
Four of us sat down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We all did
Starbucks, yeah.
The original thing, when you write that type of song, your initial thought, we all went, well, a graveyard would be hilarious. And Kim Hoffman would be hilarious.
And then we were like, you said, wait, what is this at my funeral? And we were like, yes.
We were almost like making fun of it, like this. We're not gonna.
Yeah. And then there can only be like 10 people.
Yeah.
Because you're not saying like.
Well, I thought the 10 people was on purpose because of social distancing.
Yeah.
Time out. No, we stopped playing.
No, they would still work.
That's so true.
Hilarious.
But it ended up being like, we were really wanting it to be lighthearted and fun, and doing that. And so that was the toughest part to get across in that video, was not making it too dark. Even though we're at a funeral and
I mean, I laughed when we showed it to like our friends for the first time. We always want like initial first reactions, and like I showed it, they were just cracking up, and I was like, perfect. And then also like, that's such a cool shot. So I think it got a good combo.
And then the day that we ended up shooting at the graveyard was just like the most beautiful day that it had been like in a month. So
like the sunset
that was
was
cool.
insane. Yeah.
You couldn't get a bad shot there in the graveyard.
it was funny because when you started up, that intro shot, it's like your picture. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now?
What are they doing?
But I did die inside when you closed the coffin at the end. I was like, I can't. There's no way I can do that. I can't be in your shoes on that one.
So that was kind of scary because the coffin barely closed. I barely fit in it. And so we had to do that a bunch of times. So I was holding it and I would drop it, and every time it would scare me so bad because it literally was touching my nose, and I had to just let it go boom.
And Derek was like, "You have to just drop it. You can't look like you're timid." Okay.
Oh man. Well, when you got up and then you leaned back down, I thought you hit your head because you're literally at the tip of it.
I never hit my head. There were no injuries in that video. We did look like we were robbing a grave, though. That was pretty funny. So as we were leaving the graveyard, we had the coffin, and it was the end of the day, and the graveyard that we were about to close. And so we're carrying this coffin off, and this car pulls up.
Clearly not a real coffin.
I look at my buddy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we look like we're robbing a grave right now.
And then we were also kind of
so then we had the bright idea to sprint to the van, and it was just a mess. But
oh man,
nobody.
Cops showed up at the house and everything.
Yeah,
they were like, "Show us the video once you're done." That's all.
Now I want to talk about the next single, "Hold Me, Baby."
Yeah.
When I first listened to the song, the intro of it, I thought you guys featured Ed Sheeran. I was like, damn. I was like, that gave me a very Ed Sheeran kind of vibe. Can we talk about this song and what went on with this track in particular?
I feel like this kind of started off the record in a sense.
Yeah,
one of the first couple ones.
It was one of the first three that kind of shaped the sound of the record. Production-wise, it's one of my favorites on the record.
Yeah.
It's a really simple, cute love song. I was really just basically trying to capture that initial feeling, that fire you feel with someone when, kind of two things I was trying to grasp. That first feeling you get with someone when everything's exciting and fun, and then also that feeling that you're not supposed to be together. You're not supposed to be doing what you're doing. That excitement in a relationship, especially when you're younger and stuff, I really wanted to capture that no matter what, you can't get them off your mind. And you go to bed thinking about them, you wake up thinking about them, and all that stuff. So that was the feeling that I really wanted to capture in the song. And, the production was pretty quick. It was a day. And it was one of those that we didn't have to change that much. It was thrown in, we took it into our producer, and we were like, okay, yep, it's pretty much there.
I just remember hearing it for the first time, and that was one of the ones I was like, ooh. So whenever I feel like that, I'm like, that's
That's cool that you guys can feel that way about your own songs, because I feel like after working them for so long, you just get over them.
Sure. Well, I purposefully didn't, after we finished it, I didn't listen to it for a month, so that when it came out, I was excited to actually listen to them again.
Yeah. Smart move.
When you're in the studio for hours and hours. But you also don't forget initial feelings that a song or certain spots of the song makes you feel. You don't really forget that, and I can always channel back to those moments usually.
Do you guys have any other plans while we're all at home? Is there any more performances you guys are planning on putting together for your fans?
We have another in the works. Yeah, we have another live virtual show that we're gonna do. I don't remember when it is. I think it's in June.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then we've got just some more content dropping. So we've got more stuff coming. We really wish we could be out on the road right now.
We're having to be super crazy right now.
We'd like
to
say we're in a city near you, but.
So when's that tour again?
Yeah. As soon as we possibly can.
Yeah. How are you guys dealing with that though? How are you guys taking it? Is it just are you guys just with your label and management back and forth trying to figure things out, or are you just gonna let it kind of die out and then start planning? Because I know some artists are continuing to reschedule things, but it's just you're just gonna have to reschedule it again.
Yeah. We haven't really rescheduled. we're not really doing that.
I think
Mhm.
we're just
Kinda
Well,
waiting
because,
out.
yeah, for Europe, we were in Europe, so it clearly just got canceled. It didn't really get postponed.
Yeah.
We flew home after 2 shows, which that was really hard. And then U.S., everything was just being planned, so I think it kind of worked out not to have to reschedule. It's all just like, I think our agency's planning things as soon as it can be all put together, they'll just kind of have it ready.